Hello and welcome. Today we're honoring the incredible legacy of a true American hero, John Lewis, known as the conscience of the Congress. John Lewis dedicated his life to the fight of civil rights, equality, and justice. Through his powerful words and unwavering actions, he inspired millions. In this video, we share some of his most impactful quotes. So let's begin with one of his most well-known quotes when he said, "Get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America." This quote reminds us of the importance of standing up for what is right, even when it's difficult. John Lewis believed that making noise for justice was not just necessary, but crucial. He said, "You must be bold, brave, and courageous, and find a way to get in the way." Lewis encouraged us to be fearless in our pursuit of justice and equality. His words inspire us to take action and make our voices heard. Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful. Be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. These words remind us to stay hopeful, to be resilient, even when the fight seems long and arduous. He said, "Never be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." This quote is a call to action, urging us to speak out against injustice and never shy away from making a difference. He said, "You are a light. You are the light. Never let anyone, any person, or any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Study the path of others to make your way easier and more abundant. Lean towards the whispers of your own heart. Discover the universal truth and follow its dictates. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. Choose confrontation wisely, but when it is your time, don't be afraid to stand up. Don't be afraid to speak up and speak out against injustice. And if you follow your truth down the road to peace and the affirmation of love, if you shine like a beacon for all to see, then the poetry of all the great dreamers and philosophers is yours to manifest in a nation, a world community, and a beloved community that is finally at peace with itself." John Lewis's words inspire us to shine brightly and never let obstacles stand in our way. He said, "Freedom is not a state, it is an act. It is not some enchanted garden perched high on a distant plateau where we can finally sit down and rest. Freedom is the continuous action we all must take, and each generation must do its part to create an even more fair, more just society." in reference to the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. John Lewis said, "When he was killed, I really felt I'd lost a part of myself." He said, "My dear friends, your vote is precious, almost sacred. It is the most powerful, non-violent tool we have to create a more perfect union." He said, "We have been too quiet for too long. There comes a time when you have to say something. You have to make a little noise. You have to move your feet. And this is the time." In another quote, John Lewis said, "When you see something that is not right, not just, not fair, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something. Our children and their children will ask us, 'What did you do? What did you say?' For some, this vote may be hard, but we have a mission and a mandate to be on the right side of history." He said, "Speak up, speak out, get in the way, get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America." He said, "Nothing can stop the power of a committed and determined people to make a difference in our society." Why? Because human beings are the most dynamic link to the divine on this planet. He said, "Take a long, hard look down the road you will have to travel once you have made a commitment to work for change. Know that this transformation will not happen right away. Change often takes time. It rarely happens all at once. In the movement, we didn't know how history would play itself out. When we were getting arrested and waiting in jail or standing in unmovable lines on the courthouse steps, we didn't know what would happen, but we knew it had to happen." He said, "Ours is not the struggle of one day, 1 week, or 1 year. Ours is not the struggle of one judicial appointment or presidential term. Ours is the struggle of a lifetime, or maybe even many lifetimes, and each one of us in every generation must do our part." He said, "I believe in freedom of speech, but I also believe that we have an obligation to condemn speech that is racist, bigoted, anti-Semitic, or hateful." He said, "When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have to speak up. You have to say something. You have to do something." He said, "A democracy cannot thrive where power remains unchecked and justice is reserved for a select few. Ignoring these cries and failing to respond to this movement is simply not an option, for peace cannot exist where justice is not served." He said, "These young people are saying we all have a right to know what is in the air we breathe, and the water we drink, and the food we eat. It is our responsibility to leave this planet cleaner and greener. That must be our legacy. Whatever good work you do, whatever powerful, profound work, do it because it's right or because it's necessary. Do it to make change for the better. Do it because you know you must. Don't do it for credit. In another statement, John Lewis said, "It is only through examining history that you become aware of where you stand within the continuum of change." In another quote, he said, "Destruction doesn't work. Rioting isn't a movement. We must be constructive and not destructive. Chaos is sowing more division and discord." John Lewis once said, "I had long ago decided that I wasn't going to be bound by the mental shackles of hate, anger, and discontent. Forgiveness is medicine for the mind, balm for the body, and healing for the heart." He said, "It is the responsibility, yet the individual choice of each of us to use the light we have to dispel the work of darkness, because if we do not, then the power of falsehood rises." To truly revolutionize our society, we must first revolutionize ourselves. We must be the change we seek if we are to effectively demand transformation from others. He said, "The only reason unjust systems exist is that the masses of people silently give their consent and believe these systems are necessary, whether for their security or survival." He said, "It is so strange to me that we have learned to fly in the air like birds, learned to swim in the ocean like fish, shoot a rocket to the moon, but we have not yet learned how to live together in harmony with one another." He said, "It's the action, not the fruit of the action, that's important. You have to do the right thing. It may not be in your power, may not be in your time, that there be any fruit, but that doesn't mean you stop doing the right thing. You may never know what results come from your action, but if you do nothing, there will be no result." In another quote, he said, "When you burn down a building or topple a car, the violence drowns out the injustice of what's being done to you. It puts you on the same moral level as the people whose violence you are protesting. You're no longer on the higher ground or plane. You make enemies of the people you need to win over to effect change." He said, "If we are truly to learn the lessons of the civil rights movement, the Holocaust, or the conflict in Northern Ireland, we must concede that discomfort breeds dislike, dislike breeds disdain, disdain breeds contempt, and contempt breeds hate." In another quote, he said, "We called it making a way out of no way. So when we were standing in protest, facing police dogs and fire hoses, we knew without any doubt that somebody who was greater than us all would make a way out of no way and protect the defenders of the truth." He said, "The question for us as a society is whether we participate in any way in the corruption of the defenseless, the undereducated, and the poor in spirit. We may not be able to stop the violence of others, but we can stop our own. A child is born in innocence, And this violence does not emerge out of thin air. It is created, fomented, and nurtured in them to their detriment. He said, "We are involved now in a serious revolution. This nation is still a place of cheap political leaders who build their careers on immoral compromises and ally themselves with open forms of political, economic, and social exploitation. What political leader here can stand up and say, 'My party is the party of principles'? Corrupt leaders, corrupt politicians." In another quote, he said, "What is the purpose of a nation if not to empower human beings to live better together than they could individually? When government fails to meet the basic needs of humanity for food, shelter, and clothing, and even more important, the room to grow and evolve, the people will begin to rely on one another, pool their resources, and rise above the artificial limitations of tradition or law. Each of us has something significant to contribute to society, be it physical, material, intellectual, emotional, or spiritual." John Lewis said, "The power of faith is transformative. It can be utilized in your own personal life to change your individual condition, and it can be used as a lifeline of spiritual strength to change a nation." In another quote, he said, "Martin Luther King Jr. was much more than a dreamer. He believed that faith had no meaning unless it had the power to resolve the problems of our daily lives." He said, "Each and every one of us has the power to turn our enemies around because we are all a spark of the divine. It does not matter whether we are fit or weak, short and scrawny, or big and strong. There is no adversary who can defeat us if we believe in our own inner capacity to overcome. Sometimes we have to gain tools to overcome our adversaries. We might need to study, to get help, to pray, or develop a plan. But there is no obstacle we as human beings cannot overcome." In another quote, he said, "Instead of suggesting that people with cultures and customs we do not understand, people with different colored skin, or those who speak another language are somehow beneath us, instead of developing an elaborate rationale to justify our discomfort, it is more honest to simply admit our insecurity and gain acceptance." He said, "When we set our minds against one another, when we focus on destructive energy and propagate the negative notions of separation, division, discrimination, rejection, domination, and war, we waste our power in a futile attempt to debase, degrade, and even destroy the light in others." He said, "We in the movement decided to actualize our belief that the hatred we experienced was not based on any truth, but was actually an illusion in the minds of those who hated us." Wow, that's deep. Here are a few of John Lewis' books. Link is in the description below. John Lewis's legacy is a testament to the power of perseverance, courage, and unwavering commitment to justice. John Lewis, a true champion of civil rights and justice. His impactful quotes continue to inspire us to fight for equality and make a difference in our communities and our country. His words are a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up for what is right, being courageous, and never losing hope. To fight for justice, to fight for equality, and the American dream to be all that we can be. If we brought you value today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspirational content coming your way. And remember this quote when John Lewis said, "There is a power that can raise you up even from the lowest of places and guide you to the forefront of change if you truly want to create a better world." Until next time, stay safe, stay motivated, and thanks for watching The Growth Mindset. Take care.